Quiet like my daddy, but straightforward like my mama. Drank like granddad, smoked sluggies like the other. But hustle like my uncle JT or cousin Big B. I got big dreams like Jimmy Lee, and my aim is different for any means. Keep a job like Uncle Kevin told me. Top notch player like Dave, and that caddy thing since the 80s. Slab and corporate thug and political like Jackie. Maybe rest in peace, but I've been taught a lot. See, this hot head wasn't scared to get money nor leave the beats to see. Can't play me like I'm a pawn in the game. Chess, jokester like Big Kenny the Ski. G like Jarrell, Journey. Trigger happy, getting about my family, alone like my granny. Lula, chuckling, giggling, hunching my shoulders like my daddy's and the lead. Routed like them Tyson seeds, the spiritual like rewards. A go-getter like Arian, a religious, romantic career like no one, ever. Also like Uno, my soldiers, untold stories like my bro, D-Bird. And cousin Ray not gonna get aimed like Bird. And free nasty like John and Gene. I can be man, it's respectful, tapping to a different breed. I can't wait till they get a load of me. Drake and luxury, memory and lessons from ancestral pillars, legacy family. We are unapologetic, pain with a red mentality. We are unapologetic, pain with a red mentality. I can't wait to load of me.
I can't wait.
Can't wait to load of me. I can't wait. I can't wait to load of me. I can't wait. I can't wait till they get a load of me.
Hey champions, welcome to tonight's edition of the Motivation to Elevation Facebook Live podcast. It's yours truly, Arian Tyson. I'm sitting in my office here in St. Louis, and it's a pleasure and a privilege to be back before you tonight. And so I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to hop on. I will not be before you long tonight, but I want to talk to you tonight about what won't really matter in the long run. And this is important because as I approach a very significant time in my life, I'm less than 2 weeks away from my 35th birthday, and I have been in a reflective mode, and I've been looking at things that have happened over this last year, and it has been truly a turning point year. It has been the best year of my life, going from age 34 to age 35 very shortly, in approximately 12 days. And so I really have been thinking about certain events that have happened, certain people who have walked into my life, some people who have made their presence known, and many, many people who have walked out of my life within that certain time. And so it got me to thinking, because especially on Facebook, we have a tendency to have Facebook memories that come up when we log in. And we can see posts that we made a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, depending upon how long you've been on Facebook. And so it got me to thinking, certain things really won't matter in the long run, especially when it comes to the things that you are looking to accomplish, especially when it comes to the things that you have set out to do. Because just because you have this goal, and when you initially set the goal, there were certain people that were around you, certain people that were supportive of you, it's not indicative that they're going to always be there when you hit the finish line. And that's the most important thing, to actually hit the finish line. And so you have to get to a point where you don't focus on the short term, what it looks like right now. But then you get to a point where you focus on what really matters in the long run. And so I want to share with you probably 3 or 4 things to really think about. What won't really matter in the long run. And so the first thing I want to talk about is this thing that we think we need all of the text messages and social media updates and the memes and the perfect Instagram pictures, for example. And the thing is, if it entertains you now, but will hurt or bore you someday, then it's a distraction. And what I want to encourage you to do is don't settle. Don't exchange what you want most for what kind of want at the moment. And what I mean is, don't exchange what you want most for what you kind of want in the moment. Study your habits, because we're creatures of habit. Study your habits. Figure out where your time goes and remove the distractions. Because here's the reality. We all get the same 24 hours in a day. And our success in whatever we strive to do, whatever we're striving to accomplish, it hinges on and it's dependent upon how we use the 24 hours that we have. And a lot of times people spend too much time on stuff that doesn't matter. For me right now, I understand that the State of the Union address is going on. That ain't important right now. Me speaking life into you all right now, that's what's important to me right now. That's what's important. So to me, the State of the Union address that's going on, that's a distraction right now. And so I chose to remove it. And what I'm telling you is, it's time to focus on what matters, because what you focus on grows. If you focus on the fact that you are broke, you're going to become more broke. If you focus on the fact that you're not where you want to be, you're setting yourself up for failure. But if you change your focus and you start focusing on where you want to be in the long run, your mindset changes. The way that you look at life changes. The way that you move changes. And that's important. For example, one of my dear friends made a Facebook post earlier today. And I put the same post on my page, but I tweaked it a little bit. And so she was talking about how you need to speak as if what you're wanting to do is already done. And so what she wanted everyone to do was to comment using I am, and then list out what you want, what you're trying to accomplish. So if you're someone that wants to be debt free, instead of you saying, I have a desire to be debt free, you say, I am debt free this year. So what I did was, I put a similar post on my page, but I tweaked it, because try to me is not a strong enough word. That's not a strong enough word for me. And so what I'm saying is, instead of me saying, comment I am, and put what you're trying to do, I said, comment I am, and put what you will do this year. So I listed 3 things. I could have listed a whole bunch of stuff, but I listed 3 things. And so the 3 things that I listed that I am going to do this year is, I'm going to leave my full-time. I am leaving my full-time job this year. I am a best-selling author. And, which I'm going to talk about later. And the final thing was, I am debt-free this year. See, what happens is, when you put a timetable on it, when you put a date on it, then that you really tell your subconscious mind that you are serious, that this is not a game to you. Because you ever seen someone say they want to lose weight, but then you look at another person that says, I want to lose 60 pounds. It's a difference, because you could lose 5 pounds and you can look up and say you lost weight. You got to get specific. That's the point. You have to get specific, because your subconscious doesn't know the difference. You have to realize that what you want it's going to require sacrifice. But it's time for you to start focusing on what matters most. And I've said this before. Sometimes you have to break down things that you do on a regular basis or goals that you have into 4 categories. The first category is you have to break it down to what's not important. And then another category is the things that are somewhat important. And then another category is the things that are very important. And then the final category is the things that would be considered an emergency. So you have to get your priorities in order. And the thing about it is, it's easy to get caught up on social media because a lot of people are portraying themselves as something that they're not. And so they carry themselves as if they're superhuman or whatever. But here's the thing. You have to learn how to get human again. And what I mean by that is be authentic. Don't avoid eye contact. Don't hide behind social media. Don't hide behind a laptop or a camera or a filter. Smile often. Ask about people's stories and listen. Not listening to respond, but listening to hear so you can really be empathetic. Because the thing is, you cannot connect with anyone, including yourself, unless you are undistracted and you're present in the moment. And you cannot be either of the two when you're Facebooking, when you're Instagramming, or when you're Snapchatting your life away. You just cannot. And if you're constantly attached to your smartphone or constantly attached to your computer and only listening with your ears as your eyes check for the next social media update, you are ripping yourself off, ladies and gentlemen. You're ripping yourself off of actually experiencing real relationships and real life. And the same is true for even texting. When was the last time you really had a real conversation that didn't involve texting or didn't involve some type of device? Yeah, someday you will be slapped with the reality of a missed memory being far more unsettling than a missed text. So if you are guilty of this, let this be your wake-up call, because too often we choose to distract ourselves with gadgets and news and videos and music and memes 24/7 just to stimulate ourselves, because it becomes to the point where it's like second nature to us. We're so used to feeling like the present moment is not worthy of our full presence, and we're kidding ourselves. And this mindset of dissatisfaction and distraction, of reality never being enough for us, if we're not careful, it begins to trickle and affect every area of our life. So we have to be careful about that. Another thing that we have to realize that won't matter in the long run is when we think we need more approval from the masses. That's a good one. That's a big one. Because too often we worry about what other people think of us. We worry about our appearance. We worry about if he or she will like us. We worry about if he likes the other woman, or if she's creeping with someone else. We worry that we're not accomplishing all that we should be. We worry that we're going to fall flat on our faces. We worry about things that really don't matter. We worry that we're not enough just the way we are. And of course, we worry about all the foolishness, all the thoughtless things that someone once said about us. I'm telling you what I know, because I used to be in that place. And social media, sometimes social media is a great thing, and sometimes it is not a good thing. Especially with the rise of social media, with a culture it has a certain culture of getting us to seek constant validation and constant approval with virtual hearts and virtual likes, with endless highlight reels of quote unquote perfect bodies and epic travel, so to speak. It only intensifies the problem. We must realize this. You don't need any of that social validation and distraction in your life. I'm going to say it again. You don't need any of that social validation and distraction in your life. It's the strength of your conviction that determines your level of personal achievement in the long run, not the number of people who agree with every single thing you do. Because if you are someone that has someone that agrees with every single thing that you do, one of y'all is not being authentic. Somebody's not being honest. Because I don't care how much you love someone, I don't care how much you admire someone, you don't agree 100% with every little thing they do or every little thing they say. And guess what? That's okay. Because we're different. So you got to be able to understand that and understand that that's all right. Now, ultimately, you'll get to a point where you will know that you've made the right decisions and followed the appropriate path necessary when there is a genuine peace in your heart. And when the few people who truly mean the world to you are the ones who celebrating your success alongside you. And one thing that I have learned and that I'm learning when it comes to me releasing my book recently is that it's amazing how people that you've been close to, people that you've poured into, people that you have spent time, energy, and money with, when you come up with something of your own, that's really when the rubber meets the road. You really see who's really supportive of you. It's easy to have cheerleaders. It's easy to have people who verbally support you, but it's another thing when you ask them to invest financially into you, into something that you've poured your heart into. Sometimes it gets to the point where you hear crickets. So pay attention to that. Because that really says a lot. Because even in that silence is making a lot of noise. So think about that. And then it also lets you realize that everyone that says that they're your friend is not your friend. Many times they're simply acquaintances. And if you're not careful, there are some that are just leeches. They just want to be able to just suck you dry. They want to be able to just get whatever they can get from you and never put anything and never invest back anything into you or deposit anything into you. They're just constantly withdrawing. And so that's something you have to pay attention to, something you have to be careful because everybody that says that they're your friend is not your friend. It's nice to have acquaintances. It's important to be involved in your community to an extent. But don't get carried away with spreading yourself too thin. And this was something that I had to learn, that it took me a long time to realize. Be okay with saying no. Because it's about priorities. There are some people that are just looking to make a buck off you. And then there are some people that genuinely want to see you win. But guess what? You have your own goals and dreams and aspirations. And you have to think about, is what I'm doing, is what is being presented to me lining up with where I'm at right now, is lining up with the purpose that I have on my life. Because again, we all have a purpose. And see, the thing is, time is our most precious commodity. and our time is extremely limited. And so we must leave plenty of time for the people and the projects that matter the most of us. Hey, Mom. Because when it's all said and done, sooner or later, you just want more of it with the select few people and the projects that make you smile for all the right reasons. And the ultimate goal is to never let some random person's opinion of you become your reality. To never sacrifice who you are at your core, or who you aspire to be, because someone on the internet has a problem with it. And to love, you got to get to a place where you are able to love who you are on the inside and out as you move forward. And to realize once and for all that no one has the power to make you feel small unless you give them the power to make you feel small. Now, of course, sometimes the pressure and dysfunctional judgments come from our peers, comes from people we work with, comes from society in general. And sometimes it's enough to make us feel completely broken inside. But just because you may feel broken at some point does not mean that you're not of value. And it gets to a point where you learn in your brokenness how to do things differently. Because if we do things differently, we're looked down upon. If we dream big, we're ridiculed. Or if we don't have the right job or the right relationship or the right lifestyle and so on and so forth by a certain age or a certain time frame, then we're told that we're not good enough. But that is just not true. And it's your job to acknowledge it. People ask me all the time, when are you going to have a child? You getting up there just because I'm about to turn 35 in 12 days. People ask me, but I don't feel 25. I don't feel 35. I don't feel like I'm about to turn 35. I don't look like I'm about to turn 35. And so don't get caught up in people's expectations. And so think about that, because we all are running our own course. And don't worry about what somebody else's expectations are of you. And so don't get focused on that. Stay in your own lane and handle your responsibilities to your family and to your children if you have children. And then everything else is going to fall into place. And then finally, I would say the final thing, because I said 3 or 4, but I'm going to leave it at 3. The final thing that really won't matter in the long run that I've come to discover is this. It gets to a point where we think we need to engage in the daily drama that seems so significant. Engaging in daily drama does not matter in the long run. Here's why. Because 99% of the drama in our lives is not significant in the long run. Because it isn't even real. It's most of it, if not all of it, is in our heads. Just a momentary rise in blood pressure for all the wrong reasons. And in a nutshell, most drama is simply the consequence of our inner resistance to outer incidents. So thus, there's a strong chance that the drama you're going through at any given moment is not fueled by the words or deeds of others or any external sources at all. It is fueled primarily It is fueled primarily by your mind that gives the drama importance. And like my mom just said, we cannot do drama. Mary J. Blige says, she didn't want no more drama in her life. But the good thing about, and I'm saying this jokingly, but it's actually factual, because if you follow Mary J. Blige, whenever there is some type of drama in her life, we get classic music. I'm just being honest with you. I mean, go back and listen to My Life and Share My World, and then she was getting to the point where of no more drama, and then all of a sudden she got married and she's happy, and now she's going, she going through the divorce or whatever. And, it's like she back to, the Mary that we grew up knowing and loving. But at that same token, back in the day, she was fighting for her life, and so that on one hand, it benefits her core audience, but right now, she's at a point where she wants her peace restored. And so that's what really matters. We have to have peace. It's hard to operate when it's trouble on every hand, but you can get a lot of things done. You can get more accomplished and feel more accomplished when it's peace around you. And so, even with the drama that is in our head from time to time, and here's the thing, we're all guilty of it. We all do this to ourselves sometimes. And the thing is, I ask myself, why? Why do we get so easily stressed out and sucked into needless drama? It's because the world isn't the orderly, predictable, blissful place we like it to be. It's not Shangri-La. We want things to be easy. We want things to be comfortable. We want things to be well ordered 24/7. But unfortunately, sometimes work is hectic. Relationships are challenging. Important people demand our time. We aren't as prepared as we like to be. And there's just too much to do and learn and process in our minds. So our inner resistance begins to boil over. The problem is, as I wrap up, is that we're holding on too tightly to ideals that do not match our reality. We have subconsciously set up expectations in our minds of what we want other people to be, what we want ourselves to be, and what our work and our relationships and our life should be like. And the problem is that our attachment to these ideals, our resistance to accepting things as they are, stirs up stress in our minds and drama in our lives. And we don't want to be a part of this drama. At least that's what we tell ourselves. So guess what? We blame others for it. And then we engage in even more drama. But here's the good news. We can break the cycle. We can let go of drama and find peace with reality. How can we do that? I'm glad you asked. And I'm going to suggest a simple practice for whenever you feel stress, resistance, or worry, and all the other draining mindsets that fuel drama in your life. Focus carefully on what you're feeling. Don't numb it with distractions, because, people specialize in making themselves busy so they don't have to focus on the things that they really need to focus on. Don't numb it with distractions. What I'm saying is, but instead, bring it further into your awareness. Turn to it and welcome it. Smile and give what you need your full presence. Notice the feeling in your body, where the feeling is situated, and what qualities does it have? What unique qualities does it have? Notice the tension in your body and also in your mind that arises from this feeling. And what I'm going to suggest that we do is relax the tense parts of our body. Then relax the tense parts of our mind. And do so by focusing on your breath. Close your eyes and breathe in and breathe out. And feel it. Breathe out and feel it again and again until you become more relaxed. And in this most relaxed state, find some quiet space within yourself. And in this space, allow yourself to rediscover the fundamental goodness within you that's present in every moment. And then also allow yourself to rediscover the fundamental goodness of this very moment that's always available to you whenever you're willing to focus on it. Because in the end, what you focus on grows. As I said earlier, whatever you focus on, whether it's the fact that you got more bills than you have money, if you continue to focus on that, it's going to grow. But if you change your mindset and if you change your focus, things will begin to shift. And I'm speaking from personal experience. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but in the long run, it's going to be worth it. So with that being said, that's my time as far as what I wanted to share tonight. Just really think about the things that won't matter in the long run. I gave you 3 of them tonight. But before I wrap up, again, as always, thank you so much to everyone who has taken time out of their schedule to hop on. Also, thank you to everyone who has ordered my book, who has supported this project. And this is something I'm very proud of. This is something I'm very grateful for. I put my heart into this book. And for those that don't know, the name of it is entitled Love Me or Hate Me, My Journey from Motivation to Elevation. And I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from this book. You know, people are learning a lot of things about me that they didn't know. And they're able to see and hear me speak from a place that either they've never heard me speak from or they haven't heard me speak from in a very, very long time. And so I'm excited. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the doors that are opening up. And, you know, for those that have supported the project and for those that have told me that they're going to support the project. So thank you so much. And again, it is available. You can order it at www.lovemeorhateme.org. Again, that's www.lovemeorhateme.org. And right now I'm signing every book. Every book that's ordered through that site, I'm signing it. I'm shipping it. I'm signing it. And I'm leaving a personal message to whomever purchases the book. And so I'll leave you with this. There was an individual who I had never had a conversation with them, that lives in California. And she stumbled upon one of my videos that I did back in 2014. And come to find out, she reached out to me this past weekend and she told me how proud she was of me. And she told me how she's been following me for years. And I never knew that. But it's like you don't know who you're going to impact until you put it out there and until you just open your heart up. Because everybody is not going to support you, and that's fine. Even the people that say they love you is not going to support you. And I'm cool with that. You know, that's a hard lesson learned. But that does not mean that you're not going to have support. That does not mean that you don't have people that you don't have people that want to see you win. There are people that want to see you win, and chances are some people you may have never met before in life. And so she reached out to me, and come to find out, she's been sharing things that she's learned from me to her school, to kids that she teaches to at school. And so not only did she just purchase a copy of the book, she actually told her best friend about the book. And now the best friend is going to order the book on Friday. I don't even know the best friend's name, but just for the mere fact that me shooting a video years ago, and remember, I used to be petrified of shooting videos. Me shooting a video led to me writing a book, which led me to impacting people around the world. And money coming to me that from people that I've never met before. I don't even know the best friend's name. And I didn't even know that the friend was even following me on my videos, because up until this past Friday, she had never commented on anything. But that doesn't mean that people are not watching you. So again, thank you so much to everybody who has supported this book. It is something I'm proud of. It's something I stand on. And, you know, people are already asking me, you know, when's the next book coming out? So I'm looking to do another book probably later this year. So with that being said, thank you so much. As always in life, you have two choices. You can make moves or you can make excuses, but you most certainly cannot do both. It's yours truly, Arian Tyson, the Moving Motivator. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you all next time, next Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Central, for another edition of the Motivation to Elevation Facebook Live podcast. Peace.